So when I first arrived here in England, we had 1 week of rehearsal, and I shut myself up in a room, and sort of 24 hours a day became Margaret Thatcher. My makeup man would kind of slide food in on a tray under the cell door, you know.
And you listened to her speeches over and over again?
Speeches. I read her books. I assumed her posture. I sat and stood and walked, and there was nothing that wasn't Margaret Thatcher in that room.
I also know that as part of your preparation, you went to Prime Minister's Questions at the House of Commons. What was that like for you?
That was really fascinating. It's so different from our American system, which is very often you'll go to Congress and it'll be empty. Nobody's there. And, you know, there's staff members walking around. Somebody's barking up at the front. No one's listening. And the few that are there are on their BlackBerries. But Parliament was contentious. It was live. I mean, the Prime Minister's Question Time. And so intimate, it's so personal that the two sides face each other. I can't help but think that's a very, very good... But they have to get more seats. They can't really fit everybody. So there's a lot of disgruntled...
You were worried
people.
about the overcrowding.
I was. I said, why are they letting the tourists sit down? Here are the people trying to do their jobs, and they have to stand around.
Apparently you visited on the day that there was a student demo outside, and when you and Phyllida Lloyd, the director, walked out of the House of Commons, it was past all these banks of camera crews, and no one recognised you because they weren't expecting to see Meryl Streep. And I wondered, does that, I mean, because you are a bit of a chameleon, you look so different in all your films. I mean, are you able to walk the streets of New York where you live pretty much incognito without people going, oh, it's Meryl Streep?
No, not anymore. The real kicker was when I got off the plane in Xi'an, China, and people recognized me there. Then I thought, oh, you're doomed. You know. It's very nice in a way. It makes it like the world is a small town. And so people are normally very nice. But it does make you feel creepy that everybody knows your name and you don't know their name. It feels odd.
You've portrayed a lot of real people, and they're often strong, misunderstood women. I'm thinking about Karen Silkwood, the trade union activist, anti-nuclear campaigner, Karen Blixen out of Africa, the Australian mum, Lindsay Chamberlain, in the Dingo Baby case, Ethel Rosenberg, the communist spy, TV chef, Julia Childs, now Thatcher. And this brings me to two questions about representing real people, I suppose. As an actor, and you're a very good mimic, are you trying to impersonate that person or mimic them, or are you looking for an interpretation, your interpretation of them? And is that a thin line?
Well, in this case, how people judged her, Margaret Thatcher, during the time that she was in power had very much to do with the way that she presented herself, with her hair, her voice, the way that she cocked her head to listen, the way that she jumped ahead answering the question, the way that she wouldn't let you ask the next, the way that she kept going. So much of capturing the essence of how the world saw her had to do with getting it right. I mean, normally my responsibility is getting the essence, but actually in this case it was important to me to get the actuality.
And of course she's still alive and there's her children around, and that must bring a sort of sense of responsibility. I mean, not just with Thatcher, but playing any living person. Yes. Do you feel that responsibility to those who love them? And
I do. I feel there's a responsibility to getting it as close to the truth, but it's an imagined truth. I mean, we don't have access to her daily life now.
You're now over 60, which is normally a really difficult time for a movie actress, but you know, because there aren't that many good roles around for older actresses, we're always hearing. But on the other hand, you've had a whole string of successes recently, haven't you? You've had Mamma Mia, It's Complicated, Julie and Julia. I mean, are things getting better for older actresses, do you think?
I think they are, actually. There are more people in the decision-making echelons of our business, the financial end, who are in a position to greenlight pictures and who are women and who are interested in stories about women. And yet they have to be careful. They're playing in what's still predominantly, at least in America, a men's field. So they make decisions not necessarily based on their heart all the time, but we get in. We sort of manage to infiltrate. We have infiltrated the ranks of the enemy ranks.
Well, of course, as a female director on this, Phyllida Lloyd, is it very different working with female directors on set?
It's different working with this female director. I've not worked with many. I've only worked with one or two. Phyllida is unusually collaborative. There was no doubt about that. I had more to do and was included in the evolution of the script, making sure we all were aiming at the same end.
You have 4 children and 3 of them are pursuing careers in acting. Did your heart sink when they decided to do that?
Yeah. You mean instead of taking the biochemistry degree? Yeah, they did. No, I'm proud of it. I mean, at least it meant that they have a good feeling about what it is that I do, and that makes me feel great that they want to carry on and think of how daunting it is for my girls to jump into the business where, you know, I'm so overpraised that it's ridiculous, and they just jump in without even thinking about it. They're very talented, and they're undaunted by all of it, which is really, it's very touching to me that they want to do it. And they're having some success, so that's good.
Meryl Streep and The Iron Lady is in cinemas from the 6th of January, certificate 12A. You're listening to Front